Good morning. How y'all doing? You're on mute, buddy. You're on mute, ma'am.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, we'll be ready for Mr. Kelly.
Yes, we're going. I'm bringing the
Did I miss the introduction?
No, I hadn't done it yet. I was kind of waiting for them.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna not remind you, Mr. Chairman, because I know.
Yeah, but we're going to do that. Okay, today is 7/8. Time is 8:53. The parole board will be called to order with staff at headquarters.
Francis Abbott.
Okay, my name is Pete Freeman. I will be the acting chair today. Joining me on Zoom is Ms. Cheryl Renata and Mr. Steve Prater. Our first hearing today will be on Jacob Kelly. Okay. Kelly, can you hear me?
He said yes, he can hear you.
Okay, good. State your name and DOC number.
My name is JACOBY Kelly. I have a DOC number 1.
Okay, let's see, about 461009. Sound right?
Nah, what's up with that?
What's your date of birth?
Oh, no probation, no parole.
You're not on probation or parole?
Fuck no.
Okay, where's your lawyer?
My lawyer is African standing, motherfucker.
Okay.
Man, suck my dick, man. Get the fuck out of your face.
Okay, I think we have. Do you want to continue or you want? I was going to vote.
Oh, the attorney's on. Oh, where?
Okay.
The attorney.
Yeah, we're going to do it with the attorney. Thank you, Lafayette. Would you please state your name, ma'am?
I just moved away because he's throwing water.
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. We're gonna continue here with his attorney. So thank y'all for coming.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Where's the attorney?
The attorney. I see the.
Good morning. Mr. Dieter Gitman, would you pronounce your name, sir, for the record?
Yes, sir. Attorney Dieter Gidman.
Okay, we didn't have much success with your client, but we did get his name and we're on the record. So we're going to continue with this hearing, Mr. Prater.
We're kind of at a loss on Mr. Kelly, Jacoby Kelly. Do you have anything to say since you're his attorney? Would you kind of fill us in on what's going on, or?
I haven't had any success talking to Jacoby, right? He's been very combative with me. So I'm really kind of like you, I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do, right, with him.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see. Let me ask you this, if you have anything. At one point, it said in there, ICE detainer. Do you know it? It doesn't make sense, but.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. That's the first I'm hearing about it.
Okay. I don't think there would be, and I don't think it has anything. I wanted to ask you about that. He's refused to sign anything. He's not coherent. Okay, we're here to talk about a revocation hearing for him. And He's charged with having violated one particular condition of his parole, and that's the simple burglary and simple criminal damage to property. He was billed on 5/26 and arraigned on 6/26 of 2026. And it's his second theft in 2 years. My fear is that if we let him out in the condition that he's in, he's going to either hurt himself, hurt someone else, or be hurt by someone else while attempting to hurt them, or while attempting to burglarize something or to steal something. So my vote this morning is that we revoke his parole because of violation of condition 4, which is the simple burglary and the simple criminal damage to property. And the DLC do a full evaluation on a criminal evaluation, and maybe they can give us some recommendations or some insight.
Okay, Ms. Renata?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Prater. My vote is to revoke for the violation, probable cause found for violation of condition number 4, and ask that he be moved to DOC for mental health evaluation and treatment.
Okay, and my vote is also the same, that he be moved to DOC for evaluation and to get treatment. I think there's a preponderance of evidence here to show that he has violated his parole. So that'll be it at Lafayette Parish at 8:59. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Okay, the parole board is called back to order. My name is Pete Freeman. I am the acting chair. Along with me on Zoom is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. We're here now for the hearing on Bobby Williams. Mr. Williams, please state your name and DOC number for the record.
Bobby Williams, 422-427.
Okay, Mr. Williams, here to support you today, we have Ms. Hutchinson, your attorney. You want to introduce yourself for the record, Ms. Hutchinson?
Absolutely. Adrienne Hutchinson, attorney for the Louisiana Parole Project, here representing Mr. Bobby Williams.
Okay, then you'll have Mr. Kerry Myers from the Parole Project speaking on your behalf. Alexandria Rochelle, I hope that's right, sister.
Alfred.
Okay, will be speaking. Fred Sanders, a childhood friend, is here in support. Kristen Carter is here, your daughter. Alfred Rochelle, the father, will be speaking. Stacy Williams, wife, is here in support. Calvin Henderson is a friend in support, and Alejandra Angel, Parole Project, here in support. Chastity Acree, Parole Project, here in support. Stacy Williams, your wife, who will also be speaking, and Barbara Terrell, your son-in-law. Did I get everybody?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read some information into record, and then we'll get started. I've been assigned your case, Mr. Williams, so I'll be doing the interview. Mr. Williams, you're a third-class offender. Your parole eligibility date is 3/4/26. Your adjusted diminution of sentence date is 5/1/2040, and your full term date is 10/26/53. You're serving a total of 50 years for the charge of attempted second-degree murder. Does that sound correct, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, I want you to tell me, what did you do to get yourself put in prison? And tell us the whole thing. Now, we have everything. So tell us, what did you do to get yourself put there, and what you've done since you've been at it that should make us feel safe that you can go back into the community?
On the night of September 20th, 2004, my co-defendant, Ronald Banks, had called me and said that someone wanted to get 9 ounces of cocaine. And he asked me where I was, and I told him I was at my mother's house. He can come get me. So that night when he came, got me. We stopped at a store, and my other co-defendant, Adrian Minor, he had got in the car and he rode us to Bunkie, Louisiana. We rode to Bunkie, Louisiana. My co-defendant, by me not knowing the guys, my co-defendant stopped and he met his stepbrother in some apartments, and we went to his stepbrother's house where him and Mr. Patrick Green and his stepbrother, they all went inside the house to do the drug transaction. I stayed in the car, but I had got out the car that night when we drove all the way down there because we was in another parish. I got out to use the bathroom. And when I got out to use the bathroom, by the time they was coming out, Mr. Green, I started Mr. Green by being on the side of the house using the bathroom. And once I started him, me and him started arguing. And after we started arguing, we started fighting. Once we started, in the midst of us fighting, I shot him. I shot him one time. And then I ran away. Then I ran out after that.
Okay. That is correct. You did tell us the whole story. Okay. Now tell me what you've done that we should feel that you'll be safe in the community and no danger.
Mr. Freeman, I've taken multiple classes, and I knew I needed a moral compass to get myself together. I've taken substance abuse, I took anger management twice, and I've taken thinking for a change and victim impact. And in my substance abuse, I learned about relapse prevention, because I had caught a write-up in 2015 for Mojo. that's when my aunt died, and I tried to use that as a clutch for my drug addiction, because I know that I will forever be an addict. And then I really straightened myself out when my mother died. By me being at the barracks, I didn't help to facilitate AANA. And I knew that I was powerless over my addiction, and I knew that I had to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. And by me going to weekly classes, I had someone to talk to if it was something bothering me, or I even had a sponsor, that Mr. Bob, that comes off the street, that supports our AANA. And I knew that I was trying to get myself totally correct and right. And I also took anger management twice, because due to Mr. Green's death, that was the cause of his death, for my anger. And I learned in there the power of pause. Because if I would have just paused and we just could have talked about it and got an understanding, that would have never happened that night. And I understand that when I took my last class that I just taken, Victim Impact, I learned that I left a lifelong ripple effect on his family, the pain that I caused his mother and his daughter. And I have found a strict plan to maintain my sobriety. I plan to go to classes 2 times a week. And what I have done some research, and I see that you can take classes online also. So if I'm at work offshore or working on the railroad, I can still attend meetings while I'm at work when I'm off. I set this plan down, and I learned to use I have learned now to use my support system. Correct. I have a wonderful wife. I have my dad, my sister, my daughter, my mother-in-law, and my 5 grandkids, because I am a grandfather, and I love those grandkids, and they make me smile every time I see them. And I truly hate that Mr. Green had to lose his life for me to get my life back together. And I thought about it every day at that sentencing, that I thought about his mother and the words that I was listening to the words that she was saying. And I could hear the pain in her voice and the hurt that I had taken her son. I seen his daughter was there too. And her birthday was coming up, and it was hard. And I know it's gonna be hard for her to know when she get older why her dad's not at her birthday, why her dad won't be at her graduation, different milestones in her life. And I'm truly sorry for that pain that I caused that family.
Okay. All right, let's get to some of your supporters, and we're going to hear from them. Ms. Hutchinson, I think you would like to go last.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Okay, let's hear first from Mr. Kerry Myers of the Parole Project.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project, here on behalf of Bobby Williams. Now, we were here 2 years ago when Bobby had his hearing. We continued to support Bobby, to believe in Bobby. At Bobby's last hearing, this board commended him for the work he's done, his rehabilitative work, and obviously recognized that Bobby needed some more time. Here we are 2 years later. Bobby has continued to maintain an excellent conduct record. His job is at the airport, maintaining state police aviation equipment. It's a very trusted position. Bobby continues to apply his commitment to his sobriety by leading AA and NA meetings, and as you heard, has a plan to maintain his sobriety through a support system. Parole Project will assist with that support system upon his release. We'll also, after 22 years plus of incarceration, Parole Project obviously understands Bobby's needs. We will help him through that transition, not only just through the transitional housing program, where he'll learn skills such as financial management, technology, social norms. He'll have a mentor guiding him through this process. We'll also continue to work with Bobby throughout the year and maintain contact with Bobby to assist him through his transition. Not only that, Parole Project obviously understands that and it is our motto that once a client, always a client. Bobby will always have the support of Parole Project if needed. Again, Bobby has done, since his last hearing, he's completed multiple additional programming, self-help programming, thinking for a change. Bobby's an excellent candidate. This is a perfect example of how corrections does work. Bobby is now mature, focused, sober, and ready to come home. We would like this board to consider those factors and grant Bobby his parole today.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. Okay, next we're gonna hear from Miss Alexandria Rochelle.
We have Mr. Alfred.
Okay, they see they had her to speak and I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, it's his fault.
That's what I just,
Mr. Alfred.
okay. All right, Mr. Alfred.
First thing, good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of my son, Bobby Williams, I've been in his life since he was 5 years of age. Through his lifetime, I played a role in his athletic ability. He participated in sports. I also got a chance to coach him 4 years of high school, both football and baseball. As a young man growing up, church-going young man, we know he directed himself in the direction he wanted to go, not the direction that his mom and I sensed in him going in. That's church-wise, playing-wise, friend-wise, love-wise, neighborhood-wise, because he was a neighborhood guy that everybody flocked to the house. We had to keep the kitchen closed a lot of time, because when they can't eat. We done a lot of cooking. But on behalf of me as his father, I want to say that Bobby has made a big change in his life. We followed him from the very first time of all this incident happened. We chased him up and down the highway, making sure we were present. His mom's not here. She's been, this coming September, will be 3 years. But her thing to me and to him, that stay together, love one another, and do the best you can. And when the grandchild came into existence, that was a big difference for me. She tells me all the time, I'm the oldest and I'm the first. And that's Bobby's daughter. And I want to say to behalf of the Parole Committee that Bobby's been a great guy to me. He's been a father figure to me. And I might be considered his stepfather, but I'm his father. The 5 years mean a lot in anybody's life. And I came a long way with him, and he came a long way with me. Because not only did he participate in sport, he participated in a lot of other things outside the community. You know, he was our outgoing guy. He was in the National Guard. He worked offshore. His dad would drive him 4.5 hours one way to make sure he got to his job and drove back to go to school to teach the next morning. So I've done a great thing for him because I know he saw some things in me and I saw some things in him. So I hope and pray that whatever's been done here today will be a great thing for him and society. And I know that he will make a great impact when he do come back to society, and he will be a great influence to other young men and other young people in the city of Allegheny itself. Those are my words today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming. Okay, let's go to Miss Stacy Williams, his wife.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Stacy, Bobby's wife. I have known Bobby since we were in high school. We dated as teenagers, but eventually our lives went in different directions after high school. I attended college for a couple of years before joining the United States Air Force. Today, I'm a 100% service-connected veteran, disabled veteran, and have proudly served as a nurse for over 21 years. Although life took us down separate paths for many years, God brought us back together. For more than 20 years, Bobby has lived with the consequences of his past decisions. Through all of those years, I have had the opportunity to witness the incredible man Bobby has become. Bobby is not the same man that entered prison over 2 decades ago. He is a changed man, remorseful for the pain and harm he caused. Instead of letting his incarceration define him, He chose to transform his life. During his incarceration, Bobby has completed numerous rehabilitative programs focused on personal growth, emotional healing, coping skills, and preparing for a successful return to society. He has also facilitated many of those programs and has encouraged other men to make positive changes in their lives. This shows that he has accepted responsibility for his past and his harmful actions, and now desires to help others avoid the mistakes he made. Over the years, I have watched Bobby become a loving, patient, compassionate, sincere man. We have a blended family with 2 sons and 2 daughters, 4 granddaughters, and a newborn grandson. I have created a beautiful home where Bobby can begin this next chapter in life. Bobby has a loving father, sister, niece, and nephew who has stood beside him throughout these years. My hope is that he will be able to come home, adjust to life outside of prison, together with our family, where he can be focused on being a grandfather to his 5 grandbabies and taking the necessary time to begin his footing with our help to ensure his long-term success and stability. We have a network of support focused on his continued success. My parents are both ministers who have dedicated years of service to working with our parish, jail, and reentry programs. Their guidance and experience will provide another layer of encouragement, accountability, and support as Bobby transitions back into the community. Our entire family is committed to helping him succeed. As a family, we have sought out programs in our area to help support Bobby's transition home, should he be granted. We've connected mobile crisis program for sobriety support, and although Bobby and I are married, we never have truly lived as husband and wife. And we recognize that building a life together after so many years apart will require patience, understanding, and commitment. We've already discussed participating in marriage counseling to help us adjust, strengthen our relationship, and build a healthy foundation for our future and our combined family. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Okay, Captain, I'm looking at you and I think I skipped over you, so I'm gonna let the captain speak on him before I let you, Ms. Hutchinson. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Cap.
Good morning. Good morning. It's all good, brother. Mr. Alfred said something about Bobby, and it kind of struck with me how proud he is of his grandkids. He lights up when he sees those kids, man. It's a beautiful thing. But 2 things I can say about Bobby is discipline and humility. I get to work usually about 4 a.m. every day. And by the time I'm here, Bobby's on the weight pile every day. He's consistent with the things that he does every single day. He goes to work, he mentors, he helps. Recently, we had one of his work partners have an accident, and Bobby took care of that brother until he could get back on his feet. He has a job like everybody else here, but on his off time, he and another brother weed eat the fence line of our entire facility. We got 1,700 acres, by the way, and they go after it on their off time. They volunteer, they help, they do whatever they can to make this place a success. I have no doubt in my mind that given the opportunity to be a part of society, then again, Bobby will be successful. He's got an amazing family, a great support system, and with the help of the Parole Project, I know he'll be able to reintegrate smoothly and peacefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Ms. Hutchinson, now we'll let you close us out on the support side.
No problem. Thank you, board, for your time and consideration of Bobby in this case. As Kerry talked about earlier, Bobby was before this board 2 years ago. He received 1 vote to grant and 2 votes to deny. What stands out about that decision, however, is that Mr. Freeman, you and Mr. Prater both were extremely encouraging of Bobby at that hearing. Asking him not to get discouraged with the with the vote because he time y'all recognize that he would be able to come up in 2 more years and to continue to do the work and come back in 2 years to get him a little bit closer to the halfway mark of the sentence. At that hearing, y'all discussed, that he had shown responsibility and then demonstrated genuine remorse. He had a good institutional record, and had done the necessary work to change his life. And so over the last 2 years, he's continued to do the things that you all acknowledged at that time. Obviously, to be at the barracks, you have to maintain an exceptional institutional record, as we know only 1% of the population can even go to the barracks, the prison population. He's facilitated NA and AA at the barracks, and that was kind of what he was trying to explain at the time, is that he's found that that going to a weekly program where he's able to connect with people and voice concerns or anything that he's going through as it relates to his sobriety is the method that works for him. As Captain Washington has said, he's maintained his regular work assignments, volunteers with upkeep. And so it shows you that he is not the same young man that committed the crime. And one of the things that I find about Bobby is that his insight doesn't just revolve around the crime itself. He understands that it's not just limited to the homicide, but also to the broader harm caused by the lifestyle he was living at the time of the offense, choosing to sell drugs and use drugs, and how destructive that had been to his community. He talked to you all about the fact that he understood the harm he caused, even at sentencing, right? He didn't get remorseful when parole became an option. The remorse had been there at the time when he heard the families. I know you early on, Mr. Freeman, asked about him being able to, is this a good thing for him to be able to, or why should he be given parole? How do we know that he's not a threat to the community? And outside of the record, we can look at what's been provided as far as his reentry plan. Obviously, he'd have all the services of the Louisiana Parole Project, but for Bobby particularly, his family has taught things in his particular community where Parole Project can hand off to. So having a family that's done reentry services within the jail system, and then the mobile crisis unit, which works kind of like our social work department. They provide the services, the NAAA services, the support services. They can do outpatient treatment if necessary. So he has a good handoff with his community. So today I can say obviously that Bobby hasn't just checked the boxes. He's proven the remorse. He's taken responsibility for his action. He served the additional time the board requested, and taken accountability for his crime and the problematic lifestyle that he had at the time. He has the community support that will also help him move forward, obvious employment opportunities, and a really realistic reentry plan that factors in like all those things that are looked at for public safety. And I believe that he is ready to done the work, and so we just ask that the board provide him with that parole with whatever condition y'all deem appropriate.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay, Bobby, let's get back to you. I note that you have had 7 DBs, very good, over 22 years. Your last one was in 2015. That was the Mojo, and at that time, the victim's mother is opposed. The DA, sheriff, and attorney general is opposed. My questions was mainly going to be to see that if you admitted that you fired the shot, you claim that right off the bat. You didn't try to lie about it. You acknowledge that y'all got in a fight and you're the one that fired the shots. Like I say, I have no questions. I'm gonna refer to my fellow board members.
I have no questions.
Right?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, I'm gonna move for an executive session.
I'll second.
Ms. Renat's second.
I concur.
All right, so we're gonna go into executive session at 9:31. We'll be right back. We just want to discuss confidential matters. board be called back into session. It's 9:37. I think the panel is ready to vote. Let me ask you something, Ms. Williams. Where do you reside? Where's your house? Fine. Okay. All right. Mr. Williams is still, that's why we would discuss this so long. You're doing so great, and and time is the only thing we was back there, what's the right amount of time? You've been very honest. You've done everything we've asked you to do. So my vote today is going to be to grant to the parole project for 6 months. I know he has a house, Mr. Myers, but I want him at the parole project for 6 months. Okay, so he can adjust, and Ms. Williams, y'all can get together over there for y'all counseling and stuff. I'm sure they'll work with y'all. Okay, and that you 100% stay away from the victim or the family. Okay, I don't want you around wherever all this neighborhood where this happened. I think it was in Bunkie. I don't want you even in Bunkie. Okay, all right, that's my vote. Ms. Renatza?
I agree. I would ask that we could add special conditions once he gets settled to, and I think he indicated he wanted to do this, is to perform some community service work speaking to at-risk youth, and I'll let the parole officer determine, the number of hours that should be.
Okay, and I might add AA meetings to that also, but I know you're gonna attend. Okay, Mr. Prater?
Okay, I heard him a little over 2 years ago, and I was impressed then, but he hadn't served enough time, and for my benefit, I was hoping he wouldn't come back so quick. But he did, and in the meantime, in these 2 years, he did everything that he possibly could do in the way of his behavior and the way of the courses that he's taken, in the way of the education and everything he's trying to do. So I think it would be very unfair if we didn't give him a shot. So I'm going to concur.
Thank you. Okay, you've been granted. Your vote was 3-0. Don't let us down, Bobby. We're putting a lot of faith in you, son.
I won't let you down. And if you need your grass cut, just give me a call.
No. Oh, no.
But thank you for the offer.
Thank y'all. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair today. Along with me is Ms. Renatza and Mr. Prater. We are now at TANGIPAHOA Parish Jail to have a hearing on Mr. Joshua Thompson. Would you please state your DOC number and name for the record?
Thank
You
you,
on
buddy.
mute?
Your microphone's muted. Press the screen and press the little microphone. See if you can unmute your microphone, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. All right, state your name and DOC number, Mr. Thompson.
Joshua Thompson, 434522.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, you're also represented today by an attorney, Mr. Charles Christmas. Mr. Christmas, would you introduce yourself for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Charles Christmas, Louisiana Bar Road number 26849. I'm the criminal defense attorney for Mr. Thompson.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can interject and help him at any time in answering our questions and advise as needed. Okay?
Yes,
All
thank
right,
you.
Mr. Thompson, you're here for a parole revocation hearing today. I'm going to read your violations. You can plead guilty or not guilty with or without a statement, and we're going to go over them as we go. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So you're charged with violating condition number 4. I will not engage in any criminal activity, nor will I associate people known to be involved in criminal activity, avoid bars and casinos, refrain from illegal use of alcohol and drugs. It is alleged Mr. Thompson is in violation of this condition based on the following. The parolee failed to refrain from engaging in criminal activity, which led to his arrest on 4/29/25 by the TANGIPAHOA Parish Sheriff's Office for principal to first-degree murder, obstruction of justice, conspiracy to distribute Schedule 2, distribution of Schedule 2. On or about 7/15/25, the parolee was billed by the TANGIPAHOA Parish Office of District Attorney with the charges of possession with intent to distribute fentanyl or carfentanil, distribution, possession with intent to distribute Schedule 2, CDS, and conspiracy to distribute fentanyl. He also failed to refrain from criminal activity or associated with criminal activity when he obtained the marijuana and fentanyl. He tested positive. Okay, how do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Okay, tell me what went on. What's going on with all of this?
I had recently been released from incarceration, and I was working or whatever, trying to get stay on the right track or whatever. And one day I was leaving out to go to work, and I got a call from my parole officer stating that they needed. He was assisting Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office at my house, that they needed to talk to me about an ongoing investigation. And so I left work and I come back to my residence where I was placed under arrest, and they read me my rights, searched my the quarters, my living quarters, where they turned up to have found nothing that they obtained a search warrant to have found. They searched other places on the property that happened to turn up. None of what they was the search warrant was supposed to have been carried out for. And I was just placed under arrest up until now, where I would never billed on the obstruction of justice and the other charges. They just billed they billed me on the possession with intent to distribute, which they, like I say, they never found anything. I don't know how they come up with that charge. And they come in that, and they also been held on a conspiracy to distribute fentanyl.
Okay.
So as of right now, I don't know. Like, I don't.
Okay, let me ask you this. I know they searched the shed and found some drugs in a Burger King bag in a trash can. What about that? You saying that's not yours?
No, sir, that wasn't drugs.
Okay, what about, did the officer see you do a hand-to-hand drug deal?
No, sir.
Okay.
May I interject something, please?
Yes, sir.
The officer, and we had a hearing on this yesterday, Your Honor. The officer in question claims that he saw hand-to-hand transactions. One instance, he says that he reviewed video at a convenience store, but that video that he turned in shows nothing. Mr. Thompson's not even there. And additionally, yesterday, the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office admitted that they did have the ability to video drug transactions. That officer took none of this. He did a surveillance by himself. The bag that he found was in a garbage can outside along a public walkway. And in all my years of doing this, I just can't fathom that an officer can just state something without taking any pictures, without any documentation. He didn't make any notes. He had other members of the team in the area. He didn't call and say, listen, I just saw Joshua Thompson doing a drug. None of that.
Correct. Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Thompson, what about the positive drug screen for fentanyl and marijuana?
I'm gonna give you my, okay, well, I work with some painters. And like I say, I mean, I'm not at stake to put their business out there, but at the same time, it's I feel like it's gonna help me. That van that we ride in to work daily, back and forth, they smoke all day, every day. Now, I'm not saying that that's the reason why I don't smoke. I don't smoke marijuana, sir. I'm just giving you my best scenario of why I think it would be in my system.
Correct.
I do not smoke.
What about the fentanyl?
No fentanyl. Don't use drugs.
Okay. And the other charge was about your fees. You were $189 delinquent in your fees.
Yes, because I'm a tier 1 registered sex offender, and I have to pay that in order to be free. You know, so I had to get that out the way.
We're not that worried about condition number 10. Okay. All right. Do my colleagues have any questions? Mr. Knott? Okay.
No, never mind. I don't have any questions. No.
Okay. Mr. Knott?
No, I have no questions.
Okay, so I think the panel's ready.
Well, I do. Excuse me. Mr. Christmas, you mentioned you were in court yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the outcome of that proceeding?
Well, the officer didn't attend. We were supposed to have a motion to suppress. He didn't attend. And I'd filed several motions. One, to get his GPS tracking. And I would have thought that the district attorney would love to do that, because if he actually showed that he was at this place supposedly watching this transaction, but they objected and the judge told them they had to give that to me. And additionally, the officer made a statement during the preliminary exam that the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office didn't have equipment to video or take pictures of drug transactions. And yesterday, the sheriff's office, there were other detectives there, and they had to stipulate that they do. So he obviously either misspoke or lied on the stand. And I mean, it's just strange to me that I go and I talk to the store owner where he supposedly got this video, and the store owner tells me that no one has gotten any video from them for 2 years prior to this. So I don't know what's going on, but I do have some strong questions that at trial I would like to ask this officer.
Has a trial date been set?
I think we have a trial date let me see if I can find it. It may not have actually been set for trial because we've been going through so many of these hearings.
Trial motion set for August the next 17th of next month, Mr. Christmas.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, 17th, right.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Freeman.
Let me ask a question, Mr. Christmas.
Yes, sir.
And maybe sort this out. Okay, without being too critical, you're saying this sheriff's deputy or narcotics agent or anything, he actually did not witness in the hand-to-hand drug transactions, correct?
That is my position. Yes, sir.
Okay, and is he the same agent or deputy that ran the search warrant?
Yes, Your Honor.
And was he the same? Surely there were others that were at the search warrant also, correct?
There were other officers and they searched the shed. There was nothing in his room or nothing in the shed. The only thing they found was a bag, a Burger King bag and an outdoor garbage can. And of all the stuff they sent in, 2 things came back with no drugs, and the bag had a baggie in it, came back with a trace of meth.
Okay. So if we discount all of that, because if we take your position that it was errors, we'll leave it that way and be generous on the part of law enforcement. That the drug tests that we take, and maybe someone with more experience on probation and parole can help me here. Does it deal with thresholds or does it deal with trace amounts? Or do you, and you may not know that answer.
Mr. Freeman, do you know?
No, you talking about the drug screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the drug screen has a cutoff, so it has to have a certain amount, and it's not a low cutoff. I mean, it's probably what you use in every other place you go get drug screened.
And that was administered by probation and parole specialist, I believe.
Officer Kennedy. Officer Kennedy did the drug screen, and they said it was positive for marijuana and fentanyl. I'm sorry, I was reading this because I see where 2 people say that you were the one that had sold them drugs. Okay. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Thompson? Why would these 2 people say that you were the one that sold them the drugs?
Well, for one, I don't know that Heather girl. I don't know her. I never had an encounter with her. She was associated with one of my kin people, which is my cousin, who's on the charge originally who was arrested for the charge. That's who they originally got for the charge. So selling the stuff to the guy or whatever. That girl said that, from what I'm understanding, I'm only going off of what I'm hearing, but she's saying that she witnessed my cousin, Mr. Spears, had something from me. That's how the possession with intent and the conspiracy come about, based on what she told the cops.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is a very serious matter that we're dealing with here, and I'm not. I'd like to discuss the possibility of a continuance, and put it on the DA to either go forward and prove his case or not, because normally on a hot drug screen, would we not do sanctions or would we revoke?
If he came in with a first positive drug screen, we would do a sanction. Second positive, we'd do a sanction with more time.
Okay, and that's at this particular point, that's all I'm comfortable that, and I'm comfortable that he's had a hot drug screen. But I'm not comfortable to revoke him on a hot drug screen, but I'm not comfortable on not revoking until we conclude with the case. So I know we don't like to continue, but that's what I'd like us to, your thoughts on, Mr. Chairman, or Ms. Renata.
Prater has made a motion for a continuance. Ms. Renatza,
I concur, I agree.
I'll second your motion for a continuance, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it back in their court, and we'll let you go to trial, and then we'll take action once we figure out what they're gonna actually come up with.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
all right.
Have a nice day. All right, Mr. Christmas.
Okay, would you state your name and DOC number for the record, sir?
Ryan Hunter, 461111.
Okay, Mr. Hunter, we are now at the Orleans Justice Center. Time is 10:11. We're here today for your revocation hearing. My name is Pete Freeman. I'm the acting chair. Along with me is Mr. Steve Prater and Ms. Cheryl Renatza. Mr. Hunter, did you get a parole questionnaire?
Yes.
Okay, did you sign that paper?
Yes, sir.
And you realize you're not eligible for appointed counsel. If you wanted counsel, you would have had to hire it?
Yes, I have a lawyer present.
Okay. Okay, public defender's office, okay. And so are you ready to proceed today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your case has been assigned to Ms. Renatza. I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Renatza.
Okay, thank you. And I see, Mr. Lubin, you're the counsel this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you all for
You
having me.
too. Yes. So I'm just gonna, I know he was here in April and we had a condition number 4, criminal activity he was found not guilty of. So I'm gonna go over what the remaining allegations are for the parole conditions. Mr. Hunter, I'll ask you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll talk with everybody. I see you have your client advocate here, and we'll just kind of see what everybody has to say before we make a decision. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are accused of violating condition number 2, and that says that you failed to report to your parole officer when ordered, as evidenced by the fact that you failed to report on October 14th and November 6th of 2024. How do you plead to that?
Guilty.
And then we have condition number 3. You failed to live at the address provided to your parole officer, as evidenced by the fact that attempts were made to contact you at your residence of record in October, on 3 different dates in October 2024. No contact was made. How do you plead to that violation?
Guilty with a statement, if you don't mind.
Okay, and we'll take that in a minute. Last one is condition number 10. It has to do with your fees. It says you were behind $630 in your supervision fees.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's your plea?
Guilty.
Okay. And it's my understanding with regard to the, well, tell us why you didn't report as you were instructed to do on those 2 dates I mentioned.
I was evicted.
Why didn't you
And
report to your officer?
I was evicted and homeless.
But that doesn't answer my question. I mean, I understand. I read the packet. I know that your girlfriend was evicted from her apartment, that the fact remains that you didn't report to your officer.
No, ma'am, I didn't. That's a almost impossible walk from where I was living on the street at the time.
Okay. And the same would apply, I suppose, for the other one about not living at your address because of the eviction. I understand that.
Yes,
ma'am. So it's my understanding, and you've been in jail almost a year, well, over a year now.
Yeah, over a year, ma'am.
Okay. It's my well, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Lubin. I would like to hear what you have to say and the client advocate as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I am in a jury room right now in Orleans Criminal District Court. So if my connection cuts out, please just make a funny face at me. I am speaking as Mr. Hunter's attorney. As you mentioned, Mr. Hunter's been incarcerated for over a year, and over that year, I've gotten to know Mr. Hunter quite well. Now that this is presumably my final act as his attorney, I can also say I consider Mr. Hunter a friend, someone who I trust, who I would trust with my loved ones, and someone who hopefully I am going to take up on his promise to take me fishing one day. I was mostly here to speak about the criminal charges, which resulted, as you mentioned, in a not guilty. But I think that those notwithstanding, the story that led to those also explains a bit of the other violations. As Mr. Hunter mentioned, Mr. Hunter experienced a period of homelessness, both he and his fiancee, Miss Hunter, who's on the call as well. And it was really that stretch of homelessness that set this entire sequence of events into operation. Mr. Hunter had been, until that point, my understanding was quite compliant with his parole officer, and not just compliant, but on top of his game, so to speak. One big thing I spoke about with Mr. Hunter is specifically the criminal charges stemmed from the fact that Miss Harden does, or at the time did, own firearms. She is not a convicted felon. She was legally permitted to own firearms, but that was something that Mr. Hunter went over with his parole officer. He wanted to make sure he was protected. The advice he got was to keep them in storage, and unfortunately the eviction led to them losing, among other things, their storage unit. So the criminal case was one of a story of homelessness, but I think all of this is as well. Mr. Hunter obviously fell behind on his fees. He certainly was not able to keep his address stable because at the time of these allegations, Mr. Hunter was basically splitting time between 3 separate addresses, but all of that was shorthand for saying he was living in his car. He was able to park in certain garages or driveways, take showers in exchange for work cleaning up houses. He was cleaning up some truly rundown and sad condemned houses. And Mr. Hunter and Miss Harden were living very hard. I think Mr. Hunter would be the first to concede that during this period of hardship, he skipped some steps. Officer on the 2 mentioned occasions, and he was not able to stay on top of the address. And that's something that this last year has given him a lot of cause for reflection for. I think the main theme in my conversations with Mr. Hunter that have come across from speaking with him are that obviously at this point, the criminal charges have been closed. Mr. Hunter has been found not guilty. The jury, having spoken to the jurors, the jury found conclusively that Mr. Hunter was never in possession of a firearm. And yet, Mr. Hunter understands that there is a different set of expectations when you're on supervision. It is not just staying within the four corners and the black letter of the law. It is also taking care of the affirmative responsibilities that you must take care of in order to continue to earn back your freedom and to prove to the board, prove to society that you are someone who is able to be a productive member of society. I can say with absolute and full confidence, I believe Mr. Hunter is a productive member of society. I believe he can be. I believe that the facts of this case speak to elements of his character that really put him above and beyond. You know, these allegations ultimately stem from the fact that Miss Harden accidentally, while handling a very unsafe firearm in the middle of the night in pitch black conditions, discharged the gun and shot herself in the neck. And Mr. Hunter's first and only instinct was to save her life, to apply pressure to her wound, to call 911, to do everything that he could to make sure that she got in an ambulance safely and was taken care of. That's not just because Mr. Hunter loves Miss Harden, but that's because that's the type of person he is.
Can you wrap it up, sir?
Oh, yes, I'm wrapping up now. I'm going to defer to Mr. Pierce about the release plan that's been put together for Mr. Hunter, because I think this is a man who's going to succeed with supports. I defer to him on the supports. All I would say is that I do pray that the board finds it suitable to give Mr. Hunter another chance. I feel extremely confident he won't do y'all wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pierce, we did get your letter. It was late yesterday. I have read it. I know your plan is New Beginnings, Behavioral and Family Services. Can you just summarize that all for us, please? You're on mute still, I think. I still can't hear you. Mhm. It shows you're not mute. Are you connected to the audio?
Or the volume? I know we all read the
Make
letter.
sure your volume up on your speaker.
That's still not. Mm-mm. While he's trying to figure that out, Miss Lydia, could we hear from you?
Oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Tell us what
Okay.
the living situation is now.
I am living in South Carolina. I have our dog, clothes, food. I live with my mother. My mother is she's not taking care of me. I do have a job. She does take care of me, but I'm predominantly working, also events and stuff like that. I've been drug free since everything happened. So last year, July 1st, I have a better life. I'm living well.
Good.
And I just want him to come home.
So would home be in South Carolina?
Maybe I have places in Louisiana that we can stay in, but we discussed that we do need a change. Me and Mr. Hunter have talked about a change in scenery from New Orleans to get a better life.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Pierce, did you get it? Looks like he's frozen now.
And as Mr. Pierce is assembling, I promise I'll be brief, but one thing lost in the audio quality, I think, from Miss Harden is that Miss Harden's currently living in South Carolina. She is, however, expecting the birth of her first grandchild, which is going to prompt a temporary move back to the New Orleans area. But her ultimate hope is either if Mr. Hunter's reinstated on parole, his parole might one day be transferable to South Carolina, or in the alternative, that Mr. Hunter completes his parole period in Louisiana, but the long-term plan is to move to South Carolina because Ms. Harden has found that the living conditions are more suitable up there.
Okay, good. Well, I don't know about Mr. Pierce. I'll tell you this. Let me just talk to you, Mr. Hunter.
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
has Mr. Pierce spoke to you about the New Beginnings program?
Yeah.
How do you feel about going through that program?
That's what it takes. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
How are you going to support yourself when you get on the street?
Oh, I'll be able to get a job. I won't. It's hard to work when you don't have nowhere to stay.
Where are you going to stay?
I'll be staying in Slidell.
Where?
At a cousin's house. Gun free too.
What's the address of your cousin?
My fiance has that address. She's on Zoom with us. The exact address.
Yeah, because that's gonna have to be approved before we do anything.
All right, Mr. Pierce, are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you just summarize the New Beginnings for us?
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. The New Beginning is a program where it would help Mr. Hunter with his family situation and his depression, perhaps, maybe, and grief counseling. And we also have a program that's going on with at the Delgado Community College, where he can perhaps get acquainted with job training. They have a little program going on there where we can assist him with in getting job programs in forklifting. And it's a free program where they'll give him a certificate certifying him as a forklifter. This will help him with the job placement program. I failed to include that in my my letter because this is something that just started, just something new, and we are trying to help Mr. Hunter get started on this. And I will help him personally, and we ask that you all do not revoke. Mr. Hunter been doing pretty well since he had been on parole, and these things occurred in his life where, he had a bump in the road. And I'm sure after being incarcerated for a year, he's learned that this is not the right way to live. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Chairman, that's all I got.
I have no questions.
Let me ask you one thing, Mr. Libin, you maybe can tell me. You may mention the fact that he was doing well on parole before this, and that's the same thing that Mr. Pierce said. How long had he been on parole before the allegations of missing?
Thank you for the question, sir. My understanding, and some of these forms are pretty opaque for me to read, is that it was roughly a year of parole time. But Mr. Hunter, please do correct me if I'm mistaken about that.
July 3rd of 2024.
July 3rd.
Yeah, that's when he got out. Yeah.
You had just gotten out, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so we don't have a history of having done good on parole like
He
we
stayed
said
out
before.
5 months. The warrant was issued on November 7th, 2024, and he got out in July 24.
Okay, he got out in July of 24.
Right.
And by the first day, and by the 14th
by November
of October, They couldn't find him.
Correct.
Okay. I just didn't want that to go over as having like had a number of months or years of good activity on parole. And the fact of the matter is he never done good on parole. And so that's what kind of bothers me about this. I want him to understand that you got to make an effort to contact your parole officer. You stayed in contact with your girlfriend and you stayed in contact with other folks, I'm sure. And if you can do that, you can stay in touch with your parole officer. I mean, I just don't want you to think that we just, living on a load of goats or something up here and don't take notice of what's being said. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say before we vote.
Excuse me, can I say something?
Sure.
Reflecting on what Mr. Prater is saying, that's true. I mean, a lot of guys come out of jail and go straight to their family members without a reentry plan. And that's what Mr. Hunter's problem is. He didn't have a plan when he came home, and he was placed on parole. He didn't have anyone to help support him that know about re-entering into society after spending so many years in prison. And this is where I'll come in at, and I will do whatever I can to help Mr. Hunter stay on track. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Pearson. And you're exactly right, and we appreciate what you do and what you're saying that you're gonna be able to do. I just wanted to point out to the board and to everybody that's listening that I don't know, if something's told to us wrong, I don't want people thinking that we just accept it.
Right.
Okay, is the board ready to vote?
I am.
Okay, Ms. Renatza?
All right, Mr. Hunter, I agree with Mr. Prater. It's your responsibility to report to your parole officer. It's not up to him to try to find you. However, I'm willing to give you a shot. I think that the plan, the New Beginnings Behavioral and Family Services is a resource you can use. Mr. Pierce is willing to help you through that process. My vote today is going to be do not revoke, issue a reprimand, add special conditions that you do participate in the New Beginnings Behavioral and Family Services program. Whatever program they say you need to do it and complete it. And then also enroll in that Delgado job training program.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And for the first 60 days after your release, you are to report to your parole officer weekly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's my vote.
Okay, Mr. Prater?
I concur with that. I just want everybody to understand how serious we are about doing what you got to do on parole.
Okay, so I also concur, but also I do not think you should be released until the probation officer gets to track out that address and make sure it's suitable. So get that address to the probation officer. Your wife needs to get it to them, and as soon as they check it out, if it's good, they'll release you. Okay. Good luck, Pete.
And I would note for the board, I am in receipt of that address because this is a public stream to YouTube. I think what I'll do is get in touch with the probation officer or the parole officer directly. But I am in receipt of the address.
Okay. If they get that checked out, would be good. Okay. Good luck to you.
Thank you, board.
Okay, the parole board's called back to order. Time at 10:41. We're now here for a revocation hearing on Mr. Quincy Jones. Please state your name and DLC number for the record, Mr. Jones.
Quincy Jacoby Jones, 511752.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I see that you have an attorney with you. Would you state your name for the record?
Yes, good morning. My name is Amanda Madigan. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay, Ms. Madigan, you can step in anytime to advise your client, and we'll let you, if you want to do a little closing at the end, you can do a closing at the end, okay?
Thank you very much.
And we also have Ms. Juan Cone of the Orleans Public Defender's Office. Will also give it to you at the proper time so that you can make your presentation. Okay, so you have your own attorney. I think we're ready to roll. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Mr. Jones, you're represented by an attorney, but I need to ask you a few questions and your attorney can step in at any point. You're here because of suspected violations of rule number 4 and rule number 10, or you might say conditions 4 and 10. When you get out of jail, you agree to abide by certain parole conditions. One of them is you're going to avoid criminal behavior, and the other is that you're going to, that's number 4, and you're accused of not avoiding criminal behavior because you were arrested on August in 2025 for second-degree battery. And also you agree that you're going to pay a certain amount of fees each month, and according to the report here, it says that you owe over $2,000 in fees. Can you understand those? Do you understand those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Miss Madigan, it's kind of hard whether, you know, when to start and when to stop because of the fact that he's represented by you and because of the reason that you're representing him without having to say too much. Number 4, well, tell you what, let's do this. Miss Madigan, would you go ahead and start and explain what's going on? Maybe that might be a good starting place.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a plea for Mr. Jones, not guilty for condition number 4. I'll enter a plea of guilty for him as to the fines and fees, which we will speak to later as we do have a release plan to support him in finding employment. Mr. Jones has been incarcerated for almost a year now. He was arrested on August 2nd, 2025, and his charge was refused by the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office on September 30th of that year. Mr. Jones' preliminary hearing was held on March 5th, 2026, so 7 months after his charge was refused and 9 months after he was arrested. Despite these delays, Mr. Jones really dedicated himself to developing skills while he was incarcerated, particularly cooking. He worked in the kitchen daily, and he really kept up a good attitude and perspective, always saying to me when I would check in with him that he understands that the process just kind of needs to take his course. So as the board has mentioned, there are 2 allegations of violations here. As to condition number 4, Mr. Jones' charge was appropriately refused by the district attorney's office due to the lack of evidence in the case. This was an abundantly clear case of self-defense, and the district attorney's office recognized that. As to the second basis, I would submit to this board that inability to pay should not lead to Mr. Jones' revocation. Our client advocate, Ms. Kong, will speak to the release plan that we have in place, connecting him to employment services and support. There's no allegation of absconding here or failing to stay in touch with Agent Jason Thornton. Mr. Jones takes his responsibilities on parole very seriously, and I believe that he will continue to be successful if released. If the board is open, I would love to turn it over to Ms. Kong now to speak to the release plan. Mr. Jones has had ample time to consider and plan for his freedom on parole if the board releases him, and has been reflecting on how to make the most of that freedom. And along with Ms. Kong, has come up with a plan that we believe will lead to his success when released. Thank you so much.
Ms. Kong, go ahead. That's fine.
Thank you so much, Board, for having me today. I did have the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Jones so that we can come up with a release plan so that he can be compliant with the conditions of his parole. The board knows that the primary factors for someone's success on reentry is having stable housing and, of course, stable employment. And so we were able to work together to confirm a couple of elements. For one, Mr. Jones is going to live with his mother, Ms. Janet Wells, in Franklin, Louisiana. The address is provided there on the release plan. And he'll also be supported by his sister, Miss Mary Wells. Given that Franklin, Louisiana is outside of New Orleans, where, you know, we at the Orleans Public Defenders are most familiar with, Mr. Jones and I were able to do some collaborative research about St. Mary Parish to find different resources for him. And I've been able to confirm with the Acadiana Workforce Solutions, which is an employment agency that serves 8 different parishes in Louisiana, that he will be assisted with employment. Specifically for him, his location is going to be West St. Mary American Job Center, which is about a 10-minute drive from the address that he'll be residing at. And we've confirmed that they can help him find different life skills training, job coaching, job placement, particularly in restaurant work, with Mr. Jones has said that he's interested in. Finally, as another element that we've discussed together, is just the impact that the experience of incarceration has had on him, both prior to this incarceration, but also, you know, this period that's been almost a year, and the impact that has on his mental health. And so he is going to be meeting with a Medicaid credentialed therapist for behavioral health treatment. And that's going to be at St. Mary Behavioral Health Center. That's about a 20-minute drive from his residence, and there he'll get an appropriate placement with a talk therapist.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your work, and we appreciate that plan that he has. Okay, now the big question is, what do we do with him now? The fact that Orleans Parish refused the charges is not surprising, and the fact that occurs quite often, not that I mean anything negative about that, but because of the degree of evidence that's required for them to prosecute a case and the degree of evidence it takes us to decide that somebody has violated their parole are two different things, two different standards. And therefore, we have to determine if there is a preponderance of the evidence that he committed this crime. And the main thing in our minds, Ms. Madigan, is due to the fact that he's a 5th offender, and due to the fact that he has a propensity to fight, possibly, and start something like this. I'm concerned that he's, for his own safety and the safety of the public, the general public, and that's what concerns me, is that he's going to get out and do something that's going to get himself hurt severely or hurt someone. And so, can you speak to that? Have you?
Absolutely. So I think firstly, having familial support and talk therapy will address many of those concerns. This is not something that Mr. Jones has had an opportunity to address and to work through in therapy. Additionally, Mr. Jones' mother and sister are his main support, and given that he will be living with his family and close to his family, we believe that they are going to provide the support necessary for him to work through some of these issues that the board has identified. I do not believe that the most recent case is evidence of that propensity. I think his criminal history is. However, Mr. Jones and I spoke extensively about the facts of this case, and having reviewed the gist myself, it is clear that Mr. Jones was trying to essentially de-escalate a fight between 2 women. Someone else stepped in and attacked Mr. Jones. So it is clear to me that this was a case of self-defense, that Mr. Jones was actually trying to practice de-escalation and not engage in violence. So I do not believe that this case meets the standard of preponderance of evidence. However, we do understand your concerns based on Mr. Jones' criminal history, and we're confident that the plan that we have in place will address some of those underlying issues.
Just to according to, and I have not seen the video. Have you seen the video?
No, sir, I was never provided the video.
As we were not either, and I don't know that law enforcement was provided the video. But according to the law enforcement's report, the video was requested by law enforcement, and the video does not show that he was not the aggressor. The video shows that he was approached by a man, a conversation started, and then Mr. Jones hit the man, and the fight ensued, and the man was knocked unconscious. Now that's what the video, the starting of the video shows. Just at least that's what the report says. The starting of the video shows. I have not seen it either, but just to, in the interest of being fair and to say that sometimes people say things on, and it's not necessary. There's always another side to it. And I just wanted to point out that other side. Does the family, are you satisfied the family knows what they're getting into?
I can speak to that, board. I spoke both with Miss Janet and Miss Mary on the phone prior to this hearing to confirm with them. Their reason for not being able to speak is just that they are generally not comfortable speaking in front of this board, or in the setting generally. And they also are located a little bit, and Mr. Joseph explained this to me, somewhat in the country, and so service there is a little bit spotty, so they're not able to call in. But I have been able to confirm with them.
Okay. And this is his third, just so that you know, Ms. Madigan, I think you probably know this, but this is the third warrant that's been issued for him since he's been on parole. So it's not the only problem that he's had since he's been on parole. And so with that, I'll turn it over to other board members for any questions they might have.
I have no questions. Mr. Renata, you have any questions?
I'd like to ask Mr. Jones. So you were this occurred in the Orleans Parish, right? The alleged violation.
No.
Why were you there? Why were you in Orleans?
I checked myself into a hospital to rehab for under depression.
So how did you have a bike down there?
It was a fight had broken out into the rehab, and I was breaking the fight up.
Just went there for a visit. How did you end up with a bicycle?
Can you rephrase the question?
Were you riding a bike when y'all got in a fight?
No, sir.
Okay.
I was in a rehab.
So did you formerly reside in St. Mary Parish?
Yes, ma'am.
Before going to this Odyssey House or wherever you were in rehab?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Just prior to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I guess the panel is ready to vote. We'll go with Mr. Prater first.
Well, this is a tough one because there's no punishment involved in what I want to do. It's just strictly his own protection and the protection of the general public. But I don't see the general public at really a huge risk. But I'm just really concerned about releasing this Mr. Jones. But providing he'll do what's planned by Ms. Kong, what the plan that she's talked about, not putting the responsibility on her, but providing he abides by that and that he takes his parole seriously. Mr. Jones, do you understand what I'm saying about taking your parole seriously? You have to report when you're supposed to. You have to avoid any kind of fights. You have to avoid drinking, drugs, alcohol, criminals, bars, casinos. You have to live an upright life if you want to stay out of jail. You should have learned over the months that you've been incarcerated over this deal that your standard is a little different than the standard of somebody that's not on parole. Do you understand that?
I understand. I learned a lot from this.
Okay. All right. My vote is not to revoke, but that he moved to this new environment with his mother and his sister, I believe it was. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mother and the sister. Okay, that's my vote.
Okay, Ms. Renatza?
Yes, I'm concerned about it too, but I do believe the plan that's been worked out by the public defender provides resources maybe he hasn't had access to. So my vote is also do not revoke. He do enroll in the plan that's been worked out by the public defender's office, reside in St. Mary Parish, and do take advantage of the referral to the St. Mary Behavioral Health for placement with a therapist.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wow. No, Mr. Jones, you haven't been good on supervision ever. I mean, I don't know, I mean, you're a fifth felony offender. Okay, my vote is I'll concur with my colleagues, but I'm gonna put a curfew on you of 6 to 9. And Mr. Thornton, who's your officer, if he wants to put electronic monitoring on you, I would suggest that he does. And if you violate that curfew, I will revoke you for a curfew violation. I don't care that it would be administrative because you've been given tons of chances.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It's your last one. Okay, good luck, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Would you state your name and DOC number for the record?
NICOLAS GOFORTH, 729-048.
Okay, Mr. Goforth, you're here for a revocation hearing today. Do you have your parole questionnaire with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I see you have an attorney, Ms. Goldstein.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Goldstein, you want to state your appearance for the record?
Yes, good morning. My name is Rebecca Goldstein and I represent Mr. Nicholas Goforth. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so you have an attorney and so we're gonna go on and proceed with the revocation. Your case has been assigned to Ms. Renatza.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Mr. Goforth, I'm going to read the allegations of your violations of your parole conditions, ask you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll hear from everybody, okay? Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So first is condition number 2. It says you failed to comply with that condition as evidenced by your last report to your parole officer was on May 14th, 2024. How do you plead to that one? Guilty or not guilty?
I'm guilty.
Next is condition number 3. It says you failed to comply with that condition as evidenced by attempts made to the location you report were unsuccessful on August 29th, 2024.
All right.
How do you, not guilty?
Right.
Next, condition number 4, you were arrested February 5th, 2026 in Orleans for probation violation and a municipal attachment for criminal trespassing. I do see the charge was null pros in March of 2026. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
Condition number 6, you failed to provide valid employment verification.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. And let's see, number 7, attempts to contact you by telephone and collaterals were unsuccessful on August 30th, 24 and September 25, 24. So a parole warrant was issued in October of 2024. So how do you plead to violating condition number 7?
Not guilty, ma'am.
Last, it's basically the same. You failed to comply with condition number 9 because attempts made to the location you report to were unsuccessful on August 29th, 2024. How do you plead to violating condition number 9?
Not guilty.
That would be the same, not guilty. Okay, so according to you good timed out May 9th of 24, and it says that you last reported on May 14th, 2024. Why did you stop reporting?
My addiction took over, and my struggles that I was struggling with on the me being homeless and me being an addict. That's why I stopped checking out.
So you just went straight back to the streets. I mean, you weren't out long. You were only out 5 days.
Huh? No, I was.
You reported 5 days after your release, it looks like. And then you just never went back to your parole officer. I mean, you went to see your parole officer.
All right.
Just once.
I checked in, came home. 5 months is 5 months is when I was good, and 16 months is when they put out the warrant for my arrest. But yeah, I didn't make it long until I started back on drugs.
So you mentioned being homeless, and somewhere in the paperwork that I read, it looked like that a parole officer told you to report so you could get the help you needed. Now, why didn't you do that?
I've never received any information of that.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask Ms. Goldstein, can you help us out here and tell us a little bit about what's going on with Mr. Goforth?
Yes, absolutely. And I would like to just start with a little bit of background. So Mr. Goforth, as the board knows, has been incarcerated at the Orleans Justice Center for the past 5 months. He turned 27 years old yesterday. Mr. Goforth was born in Russia. He was immediately placed into an orphanage. He experienced very early childhood abuse and neglect, and at the age of 3 was adopted by an American family and brought to the US. His adoptive parents were divorced when he was young, and he then started staying with his adoptive father, who supports him, provided a letter in the packet to the board, and supported him as best he could. His father is a colonel in the army, and so they were often moving around a lot. So he had some instability in his childhood. And ultimately, that instability and neglect and abuse that he faced in his formative years sort of followed him and made it a little bit hard for him to manage everyday life. And ultimately, at a young age, he did turn to drug use to try to cope. His addiction is ultimately what led to his chronic homelessness and incarceration. Despite these challenges that he faced, he is committed to his growth and recovery. He has pursued and obtained his GED while he was incarcerated. And in 2024, a month after being released from prison, he earned his heavy machinery operator certification from North Shore Technical College. That certificate is also included in the packet. He's eager for the chance to engage meaningfully with community support that he's previously lacked to tackle his addiction and homelessness, so that he can maintain his sobriety, a goal that he has mentioned from the very start to me, something that he brought to us wanting before he even knew, what that would look like for his parole hearing, to obtain stable housing and employment. And I'll let client advocate Wan Chi Kong talk a little bit more about that plan. As to the specific violations, as to new criminal activity, Mr. Goforth was arrested February 5th of this year. He's been incarcerated since then, and that was only on that one count of municipal criminal trespass. He was issued a release on his own recognizance from municipal court, and on March 19th, that charge was dismissed. He has no, and the minutes from that dismissal are attached to the packet as well. Mr. Goforth has no other pending charges. Regarding the violations that Mr. Goforth absconded supervision and failed to make payments, he acknowledges, we spoke at length about his obligations. He does acknowledge his mistakes and takes full accountability for not checking in with his parole officer. While he was unemployed and homeless for the entirety of that period that he was unreachable, he knows that it's still his obligation to make every effort to stay in touch with his parole officer, regardless of the outside challenges he's facing. Ultimately, his lack of permanent housing and battle with substance use just made that reliable routine and consistent check-ins difficult. But again, he acknowledges that despite how difficult that situation is, he needed to be in communication. He needed to explain where and how he was seeking services and where his PO could always find him. And that's what our release plan hopes to address. He acknowledges again that he needed to be attempting to make payments or at least keep his parole officer up to date with job searches as well. Ultimately, Mr. Goforth, since his arrest, has been working with the Orleans Public Defender's Office, with client advocate Wan Chi Kong, as well as legal interns here. He has a whole team behind him, and together they've created a tailored reentry plan outlined in the packet. The plan that Ms. Kong will give some more details on, she can elaborate on those supports, but it does include a 12-month inpatient program. It's faith-based, which is really important to Mr. Goforth, and that's long-term housing, followed by intensive outpatient options and help placing him in sober living upon completion of that 12-month inpatient program, should he be released back onto parole. So we're hoping that with a proper support system for really the first time in his life, Mr. Goforth is very hopeful to begin a new chapter. He's dedicated to his recovery. He wants nothing more than to have a meaningful chance to become a productive member of his community. We respectfully ask that the board use its discretion today to show Mr. Goforth mercy and allow him to be released onto parole with these supports. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kong, you want to tell us what plan you've laid out?
Yes, please. And thank you so much, board, for having me today. In meeting Mr. Goforth, I found it very remarkable, as Rebecca was explaining, that he is so motivated to get sober and so willing to take accountability that so much of his failure to report to his parole officer has been based on his addiction. I don't think he makes any excuses about that. I don't think he tries to justify it. He really just does take accountability for what was going on in his life and how he was coping at that time. And he's really willing to get the help that he needs, that he hasn't had the opportunity before. He's really engaged with us and advocated for himself and his desire to seek treatment. So I just want to start with that because I do find that very remarkable in my time working here as a client advocate. A little bit more about the plan. So Mr. Goforth considers himself a man of faith and said it was very important for him to find a faith-based treatment option. He is interested in pursuing his bachelor's in ministry in the future. And so we thought that the best fit for him would be Lifehouse. It's a 12-month faith-based substance use treatment program. So it's very robust, right? It's a quite lengthy treatment program where he'll really gain the tools that he hadn't had the opportunity or access before, and also be able to be mentored by other pastors, so people who are directly impacted by addiction, but also people who are of the same faith as him, which I think is a really beautiful integration of both of his needs. The address and all the information is listed out in the release plan. But once he is done with that 12-month program, he will have assistance being placed in a sober living. His hope is to return to Orleans Parish, where he'll be for reentry support, employment support, and case management. And so during that time, he'll have been sober outside of custody for a full year, gaining some tools, and then get additional case management. Sophie is on the call as well. The different faith and employment supports that will be available. The other pieces of it is that as his client advocate, I'll be available to continue helping him navigate these things, right? I think a lot of the struggle is even when you have a sheet of resources in front of you, it can be quite difficult, especially when you haven't had the opportunity to advocate for yourself. So we'll be helping him navigate all those various resources. He also has family and community who are rooting for him. I think a huge part of your success in reentry is your natural supports. And so I'm quite confident in Mr. Goforth. I'm really excited to work on this plan if the board would allow us. Thank you.
Thank you. And is it Rice or Reese?
Hi, yeah, it's Reese.
Reese.
And thank you so much to the board for the opportunity to speak today in support of Mr. Goforth. My name is Sophie, and I'm speaking on behalf of the First 72 Plus, which is a reentry organization in New Orleans. And like Wanchi said, we are excited to work with Mr. Goforth upon his release and after his stay with the Lifehouse. I just want to highlight a few of our programs that, after speaking with Mr. Goforth, seemed like they would be a really good fit. So first of all, once he's released, we would be able to assist him with applying for SNAP, Medicaid, and assisting him with obtaining proper identification. And then he's also expressed interest in obtaining his CDL certification. So he would be able to work with our Director of Economic Empowerment, who can refer him to the Crossroads CDL Academy, which is free as long as he's receiving SNAP and Medicaid benefits, which we would help him obtain. Or if he's interested in seeking stable employment using his forklift operating certification, our Director of Economic Empowerment could work with him on that as well, connecting him to various employers, helping him update his resume, training him on how to go through interviews, and just ensuring that he has all the resources necessary to obtain stable employment. And also, like was stated, he has an interest in faith-based counseling. So he would also benefit from developing a relationship with our co-founder and senior advisor, Pastor Tyrone Smith, who would be able to provide him with spiritual counseling and would also be able to connect him with local church services if he wishes. And finally, you would benefit from our classes. So every Tuesday, we have a cognitive behavioral therapy class for young adults, which discusses healthy ways of coping with negative thought patterns. And then every Wednesday, we have our 9 Steps to Staying Free class, which is a peer support group guided by Pastor Smith, where clients participate in open discussion around sticking to their goals, managing their sobriety, handling their emotions, and much more. So our team is really committed to assisting in a smooth transition for Mr. Goforth, and should you determine that he requires any additional support services as well, we will gladly provide those. And thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Goforth, You
Yes,
know
ma'am.
what concerns me about you? You freely admitted that you have an addiction. I see you're a fifth felony offender.
Right.
How many times you been on supervision before?
With parole,
Or probation?
probation and parole, every time I got incarcerated when I came home, so about like 3 times. But see,
And
the
have you
reason
ever
why,
successfully completed probation or parole?
no, ma'am, because I use methamphetamine drugs.
Right. So what I'm getting at is what's different now? I mean, your advocates have indicated that you just have family and community support now. Did you not have it then? All those times?
See, I'm always gonna, it's gonna, the reason why is my fault to blame. And they was all like, my dad was always there and telling me, look, do this. And, I'm telling you, all you gotta do is just stay sober, maintain a job, make your payments, complete parole, and just live life, but you gotta do it legally. And everything was good. It's just the only flaw that I have is that drug. But what I feel like with me being incarcerated for 5 months this time, I really did. I didn't just find God, I found Jesus. But also with the 12-month program, I feel like my dad's been shooting for that for a long time, for not just a outpatient program or like a 30-day program, but he says I'm gonna need time. It's gonna take over a year for where I need to be at. And also since
Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
ever had treatment before?
Not like no, ma'am.
Have you ever
Not
been offered treatment before?
I've
Other
been
than your dad encouraging you to do it?
no, ma'am.
You ready for it?
I think what got me psyched is the spiritual counselor. So I'm really all for that. I can't wait. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. If I do get granted this, and just want to prove myself that I'm better than who I was.
All right. All right, Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Prater, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay,
No,
let me ask the counselor this. Would y'all be able to make arrangements for him to be transported straight from the jail to that place?
Yes, they provide transportation board.
Okay, because we don't want him on the streets at all. I mean, I don't know what decision's gonna be made, but I just needed that for my clarification. Okay, Ms. Renatza, we're ready to vote?
Yes, I am. I do find you guilty, Mr. Goforth, of violating the conditions of your supervision. I am most impressed, though, with the transition plan that's been worked out by all the folks on the call here today. So my vote would be do not revoke, that you do, upon release, report, however that is, be transported to that Life House substance use treatment and housing facility, and you do have to stay a minimum of 12 months, and then from there to sober living. And then hook up, with the First 72 and the programs that they offer, the weekly sessions and what have you. You have a lot of work to do. And I hope you're ready and willing to do, because, being a fifth offender, you get in trouble again, guess what? You know what'll happen. I wish you well. That's my vote.
Thank
you. Okay, Mr. Prater?
I concur with that. That sounds like a good plan.
And I concur also, because your good time date is about 8 months, 9 months. So we wouldn't have time to put you in one of our places. And I think this is the next best thing. Don't leave, man. I'm like Mr. Knotts, this is probably your final shot at a good life. Okay? And your dad obviously loves you because he's talking to you. So my vote is the same as those. I ask that he be picked up at the jail and brought to the lighthouse. Okay, good luck to you.
Thank y'all.
We're signing
Thank you.
off at 11:23. Thank everyone that participated.